So I want to start just by asking kind of how you got involved with the show. I mean, Blue Bloods was such a huge thing. Like it went on for 14 years. And then you hear that they're making this spin-off, Boston Blue. What's kind of the story of how you got cast in here and what was it that really like made you want to be part of this project?
Well, it was a couple of things. I did an episode of Blue Bloods a few years back, and I loved working on the show. Donnie Wahlberg and we did a movie called Marilyn Hotchkiss Ballroom Dancing and Charm School a long time ago. We did a movie called Butter, and then it changed name to Never Too Big, and we did something else. But we worked together over the years. But the two Brandon Saunier and Brandon, I'm going the two showrunners.
Sure.
We did a television series called LA's Finest with Gabrielle Union and Jessica Alba
Yep.
a few years back. We did 2 seasons, and I worked with them on that. So I knew them, and so I guess they had me in mind for the Reverend, and they invited me to come and be a part of it, and I was excited and so thankful that I did.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I mean, your character, I love him so much in here and your performance. I mean, the Reverend's
Oh,
such an
thanks.
interesting guy, and every episode just kind of just new components to him. And the more it goes along, the more we learn. So,
Well,
can you,
thanks. Yeah, the Reverend is for me. It's so much fun because as a kid growing up, my grandmother wanted me to be a minister, which I thought it's never going to happen. Well, in a way, it's kind of happening. This is, I think, the Reverend that she would have been proud of. So I was excited, if for no other reason than that. I just wanted to play this character. I cut you off though. What were you going to say?
no, I was just saying, like, throughout the course of like filming this whole season, was there like an aspect of the Reverend that was like the most exciting for you as an actor to like really dive into and like explore when you're kind of getting to know him?
Yeah, now that we've spent some time, getting to know the Reverend, and I just didn't want to be the guy sitting at the dinner table, and we never got a chance. You play a character, you wanted to be a well-rounded, full human being. Um, I was very excited in the very beginning because I knew he was a community leader. He was very involved in the church and in the community. And this episode coming up, where there's a lot going on. That I was really excited because this they showed me that they were had more in mind for the character, and we see him in the community. We also see the relationship, the fragileness of the relationship with the family. We see them at dinner and we think, well, they're all together and there's no issues, but like all families, there's always issues, and to see all that played out, um, it makes it very exciting for me, and it makes me want to keep showing up and keep playing this role.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And that jumps into what I want to ask you next too, is because we have this new episode coming out next week, and I was watching a screener of it yesterday, and you got a lot to do in this episode. There's a lot that happens with the beginning and then everything in the hospital. There's that huge
Yeah.
confrontation with your character's daughter, and then that final punch at the end was pretty awesome to see. So you're doing a lot in here. Was there an epi or a moment in this episode that like you were especially excited to film that turned out to be like a lot of fun to like dive into?
Yeah, there were a couple things. Like I said, the temptation was to have a character that just shows up at dinner and he says a lot of grandpa things to say, and then he disappears. So seeing the fragileness of the relationship with his daughter and the family, and suddenly and the secrets that are have been hidden for years, and all that coming out, but also for me to see his community outreach and the consequences of that. That was exciting to play, and then to have his faith challenge, to be what happens in the church and how that unfolds, and to see him get physical.
Yeah.
That was really kind of cool, and it's just for me, the character is a guy. He's a minister. He's trying to do his best. His family's kind of they're Jewish, and so not quite what he had in mind for his daughter. But he's just trying to be a good guy, and it's nice in this episode to see him challenge, and I love how he sort of works through it.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. It's again that punch in the church. That was awesome. I was in an hour and thought it was great.
Oh, thanks, thanks. Yeah, they brought a stunt guy in. I go, wait a minute. So why is he? They said, well, because you have to throw the punch. I go, guys, I'm 80 years old, but I think I can throw a punch. I mean, it's we don't really need to hire somebody for that.
Oh,
So,
wow.
but it was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. And this episode also features the special guest appearance from Len Cariou, who I think Blue Bloods fans have been waiting for that to happen because I mean, we all know and love his character from the original show. And you guys get
Yeah.
to share a couple scenes together here in this new episode. So can you tell me a little just what it was like kind of working with him, collaborating with him in this space and getting to see him like come back and reprise this role?
Yeah, Lynn is so cool, and he's been around a long time. We did a pilot for a series back in like 1980. Oh, it was in the mid 80s.
Mhm.
He was a judge, and I was a bailiff. The pilot didn't turn into a series, but I've known him ever since then. I'm a fan of his work. I'm just a fan of him as a human being. I loved him on Blue Bloods, and the fact that he came and sort of graced us to be on this show, and gave it a certain validity too, because it's a spinoff. But as much as we can cross the shows and the fact that he came on our show, and I got a chance to see him and work with him again. It was a joy for me. And I'd like hopefully see more of it. I love for Tom Selleck. I have no say in any of that, but Bridget Moynihan, she not only has come and played role on our show, but she's also directed a couple episodes. So there's the crossover. I hope to see more of it. And of course, Donnie Wahlberg is just an amazing guy, and it's just a real pleasure.
Sure, totally. I love it. So we got this new episode coming out next week, like we said. Watched that last night, but I haven't seen anything about what comes beyond that, and now I'm so curious. Is there anything you can tease or tell us about what's kind of coming for the second half of the season?
Yeah, for the Reverend, once this secret is out, and that has repercussions, and that is doesn't go away very easily. It challenges him and his daughter May, and so there's and how just how the family being involved in law enforcement and it's they're not just ticket writers. I mean there's some real difficulties that the family has to face, um, and it's just great. But the relationships is what I'm really very very excited about, and and of course they're young people, so they're dating and doing whatever. I'm not sure if I'll ever get a girlfriend, but how that works with ministers, but we'll find out in time. But there's a lot of fun stuff coming up.
Sure. Awesome. I can't wait to see it. And then just one last question for you. I mean, Blue Bloods, as we said, it went on for a really long time, 14
Uh,
years. And I know that nobody
yeah,
probably approaches a show going like, we're gonna get 14 seasons out of this one too. But like, has
yeah.
some form of that idea crossed your mind? Like, do you think Boston Blue is a show that could go on for like many years? And is it something you'd want to keep being a part of?
Well, I think it has potential to go for a long time, but not because of the show. It's just that television is changing so much. I mean, now with all the streaming and so it's kind of done, it's not the old television, back 10, 15 years ago, we do, 23 episodes a season and it was mostly network TV. Now it's different and people are watching different kind of content. So whether it'll last and whether TV will last and be what we recognize as TV in the future, I have no idea. So however long it lasts, and when somebody says, well, if we went 14 episodes, I go, I'd be almost 100 years old. So I'm not sure if I don't know if I'll be throwing punches at 100, but as long as it's fun and I'm able to do it, I'm happy to be a part of it.